Hey guys, so today I'm going to do a quick review of Creto. It's not going to be super in-depth like I've done some other things, but I just want to lay out some facts for you guys so you can make some informed decisions regarding Creto and being global, because he's kind of in a weird spot right now because he's going to be very strong on releasing global, but whether you want to go for him or not is a very difficult question. So first off, Gudito actually has some pretty nice art. I think he's one of the better looking male characters. He looks kind of generic, but I mean, he doesn't look stupid or anything. You know, he's got a good model and everything. But so here's the gist. So Creto is basically a better Fire Rosa. And I'm not like trying to compare them out of element or anything, it's just he basically does what Rosa does, just better in the fire element than how Rosa performs in the dark element. And the main reason he does better than Rosa is because of his Nenso and his VCR. So unlike Rosa, Creto is going to likely be running Spy, which is going to give him access to a slightly different kit than Rosa might have. Having the option to do Spy or Assassin, of course. You're probably going to want to run Spy. I think that's how he's normally run, but there's nothing wrong with running Assassin. Having access to a Fire Assassin is nice. It's good. Assassin's good for status and everything, but the main reason we use Creto is for his jumps. So Creto is going to be released with Kaigen in Global, and I cannot stress enough how important this Kaigen is to him. According to the database, the Kaigen is going to be worth about 200 attack. He ends with 1046 when his Kaigen is maxed out, or sorry, 1052 when his Kaigen is maxed out, and he has 794 physical attack before that. Since he's going to be scaling off of his jumps, he's going to be using pure physical attack, so it's a lot. It's actually like closer to 250 now that I think about it. So like 250 physical attack off of his Kaigen. That's a really significant number. Not to mention he's going to need the survivability to survive as a spy on a map. Not necessarily the greatest situation to have him without his Kaigen. However, his Nenso takes this up even further. So we take a look at his Nenso. His Nenso actually really good stats. So the base stats on it is 24 physical attack, and the Watatsumi group is 32 dex and 3 speed. Of course, as you upgrade the Nenso, you will obviously get better values. This maxes out at, what is it, like 8 speed, 64 dex, and 30 physical attack, which is all around really good stats to have on a spy. It'll increase his spy damage as well. He's also going to get a buff to single target attack, which is huge. Don't forget that one of his jumps is going to be a single target attack, so it'll allow him to kill single targets even better. However, that is not even the best part of this Nenso. So he is going to get a permanent 20% physical attack and 20% crit buff and plus 30 hit rate. Not that he really needed the hit rate, after all, jumps have 100% hit rate to begin with. But the point is he's getting a 20% physical attack boost. And to my knowledge, this buff does not fall off in the map. It's not like a Telekine buff, like I previously thought before I actually looked it up for the video. And yeah, 20% physical attack, that means between his Nenso and his actual like Kaigen, he's going to be getting well over 400 physical attack from his Kaigen and Nenso combined. So he's not necessarily the most free-to-play friendly unit on the block. Definitely a good unit, but he's not super free-to-play friendly in my opinion. And the worst part of all of this is he doesn't have a hard quest in global, and he's getting his Kaigen right away. And we've done the math for this before. It's like, what, 6 months to farm one from scratch, and that's when he gets his hard quest. So let's just quickly take a look at the VCR, because I think I've gone over this on Itsuki before, but I haven't gone like super in-depth or anything. So basically, this is the VCR from the Creto Nenso. It's 400 HP, 50 physical defense, and cast time ratio minus 15. Now, Creto is probably not going to benefit a ton from this, but it is obviously geared toward his spy kit. Reducing cast time obviously helps the spy abilities. However, that isn't the main reason why we like the Nenso. It'll also give him an additional attack that is a fire-based attack. And it is a ranged attack, and it's just something else you can add to his kit. You obviously don't have to run this VCR. It's not like it's super integral for his success, but it's just a nice little touch, and it's also good on like Hayate and Itsuki if you run her as a spy. Any spy is going to want to run this piece of gear, or at the very least any Watatsumi spy, because this is limited to Watatsumi units, of course, is going to want to most likely run this. They don't have to, it's not mandatory, but it's definitely a nice little quality of life thing, making it so your AoEs, like your Wind Dragon or like your Water Toad, go off more successfully and faster. So, what are my thoughts on Creto? Should you get Creto? So, I know that in Global, Fire seems like it's not in the best state right now, but unless you're a whale and you're willing to pull for shards for this guy, I really don't think he's worth using. He's not a very good 75 unit. His leader skill is 50% HP and 20% jump damage modifier, which is, I think he and Kata are the only two fire units that use jumps in like all of fire that like realistically use jumps. I'm not even sure who else uses jumps other than those two, to be honest. But he's just not going to be the kind of unit that you're going to want to spend your resources on, in my opinion, unless you're a whale. And that's just the hard truth. He's going to need his Kaigen, he's going to need his Nenso, if you really want him to be super competitive. Now, if you do like Creto, more power to you. He is a good unit long term. Nowadays in Fire, he is seen as somewhat underwhelming, just because Fire is crowded with so many good units these days, but it's not as though he ever became bad. Just keep in mind that he is essentially Fire Rosa, and he's going to have the same kind of shortcomings that Rosa has, in that he's not going to have a ton of attacks. Once he blows his load, he's pretty much done. So just some other quick notes, because I heard that you were going to be getting Tearfang and Masamune Kaigens. So, Masamune is actually a good unit in Japan, if she has her job plus. Let me just real quick pull this up here. I think she needs to be 75. Oh god. I'm running out of crystal apples too. Sure. Huh. Did I never get her job plus stuff? Oh, duh. She... I'm an idiot. Alright. So, in Japan, she has a job plus. And this is going to turn her Samurai essentially into a job plus Dark Cavalier. Or rather, I think it's a job plus Samurai that uses a great sword, actually, is what it is. And this is what makes Masamune good in Japan. The fact that she has this job. It's actually a really good job. I never raised it just because I never got her Nenso, and I never saw the reason to raise it if I didn't have her Nenso. But, should you raise your Masamune and Kaigen her? Yes. If you don't have the resources, don't bother right now. But if you Kaigen her right now, you're not necessarily going to lose anything, because she will get her job plus in global eventually. However, you would be throwing resources at a unit that might not be usable until she gets her job plus. Anyone who's free to play or new to the game, definitely just go ahead and do it. Because worst case scenario, you run her as like a Twin Blade or something, and you just have a Kaigen unit. You know, that remember that Kaigen materials for free units are Kaigen materials for collab units are significantly easier to come by. You obviously shouldn't be using any of your collab frags, but just farming up Masamune isn't necessarily a bad thing. Now, let's take a look at Tearfing. So, the thing about Tearfing is she's just not that good in Japan. And it's just that the Holy Cavalier job in Japan is just not good enough on its own. And that's really all she has. And that's pretty much all there is to it. It's that she just doesn't have a good job. Her other jobs are not good. I mean, she has Soldier, for God's sake. Is she worth a Kaigen? If you're new, maybe. I don't have a very good grasp on where Light is in Global at the moment. I don't necessarily think it's a bad thing to Kaigen her. I just think that it's a waste of time and resources. But if you want to Kaigen her, I don't think it's going to be detrimental or anything. She's probably going to be a little bit better than she was when she got her Kaigen in Japan. And that's just from the sole fact that you guys just don't have a ton of Light Kaigens yet. So she actually can find a place on a team, in my opinion. Does that mean you should Kaigen her? That's questionable at best. My opinion, I'd say probably not Tearfing. But it's also up to you. There's a good chance she's going to feel a lot better in the global meta than she did in the Japan meta when she got her Kaigen. So that's going to be a personal choice that you guys are going to have to make. I suggest maybe waiting around and seeing if you can't get a hold of a Kaigen Merc to play around with first before you decide whether you want to all in on her or not. Definitely don't even bother if you don't have her sword. I'm just going to tell you that right now. Like, why would you even bother raising her at all without her sword? Anyways, that's really all I have to say on this video. It was mostly supposed to be about Kurt, but I decided to add in those last two. So just to recap, Kurt, is he worth it? If you're a whale, maybe. If you're not a whale, probably not. Anyways, guys, thanks for always for watching. I know it was a bit of a shorter one today, but hey, sometimes short is good. And I never raised Creto myself. So, anyways, thanks for watching as always, and I hope to see you next time.